Sneakerphiles podcast. I'm your host, Eugene. You can find us online at sneakerphiles.com, spelled with a PH, on Twitter at Sneakerphiles, and on Instagram at Sneakerphiles_podcast. And if you're not watching this right now on YouTube, you can find us as well on YouTube. Just search Sneakerphiles podcast and you will find all our videos. And to my left, we have
Joe.
And to his left,
Pierre over here.
So Jason's not here.
Oh,
Miss you, Jay.
And for anyone that's actually just doing the audio podcast right now, listening, you guys want to give a round of what we're doing right now?
We are
on site.
Yes, we are recording on location. This is actually a video podcast that we're trying to experiment with for once. We're outside this store. I don't want to give the location out, but we're outside a store right now. It's Saturday morning, the 11th, March 11th.
Bus coming.
It's okay. It'll make it more real.
I know, right?
Urban.
So if you can hear, we're in downtown Vancouver right now, and we are in line right now, and the time is 7:30 a.m. on Saturday, March the 11th, and we are currently in our camping chairs outside a store, and what are we waiting for?
Let's
The
go,
OG,
Pierre.
Nike Air Max OG. Are you calling this Royals? I've seen Royals, or are they blue? Just
I heard Sport Blue.
Sport blue?
Sport Brews, Game Royal, Sport Royal.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, we're lining up for the
Air Max White.
Air Max 1 OG in the blue colorway. And I was not at first gonna be copying these, but at the same time I wanted them, but I was just saving my budget for the rest of the Air Max releases for this month. But because Joe was such a big fan of these, his enthusiasm kind of spilled over to me. And now I actually really want them because, you know, a couple weeks ago we talked about buying shoes that we were on the fence about to complete a pack. And this is the direct result of that mentality. How do you guys feel about the Sport Blue? I know you're in line, so that's a silly question, but what do you feel about this Air Max OG movement that's doing a resurgence this year?
Can I start?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
For me, I am super excited about this release. This is actually going to be my first OG Air Max pair that I'm going to get, honestly. I have the Air Max Zeros, but it doesn't compare to this. There's so much history about this, and I've actually gotten to learn about it because of you guys too, Joe. Joe, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here. So thank you. You explained that out of all the releases, this is probably the closest to the old. Is it the old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closest in shape that they say.
That's what they say. I don't have an 87 pair or whatever it is, so I'll never get to do them side by side, not anytime soon anyways. But the fact that they are trying to pump up the fact that they are trying to pay the most tribute that they possibly could to making this as OG as possible. And I like that movement that Nike and Jordans have been doing, is that they've been throwing back to making more OG accurate retros nowadays. And now that they're doing it with the Air Maxes, I think it's a great time for brand new sneakerheads or brand new Nike heads to come out and start collecting these OG accurate retros of these Air Max 1s, which is, like, I know for Joe, but like for someone like me, this shoe is so important in my sneaker collecting history. And just the fact that I would buy every single OG retro Air Max 1 they would ever release. I got one like 2-3 years ago. How long ago was it? I got that pair.
Air Max Day celebration?
Correct.
Yeah.
I got that pair, and getting this again was not even a question. Like, how do you feel about the Air Maxes, Joe? How does the Air Max impact your collecting life?
It sits as a must-have, must-cop, I guess you could say, using the lingo of the sneakerhead community, because it's an originator. It's where things began, the first visible air bubble, and now, like you guys are saying, to be able to have the shot at getting a shoe in as near original condition as was originally released is as good as it gets. It's very much like getting an Air Jordan 1 with Nike Air on the tongue and no other branding other than the Wings logo. You know, so
that's a good point.
It sits as being able to get a fresh pair, because a lot of the stuff that we see out there has either been beat to shit if you can find an original pair, or has been for lack of a better word, a bastardized pair that's either got lunar cushioning, or a Flyknit upper, or a Hyperfuse upper, or an Ultra build that is just gutted for weight purposes. So to be able to get something that is straight OG day one build is, I think, a reason why it's a must-have, especially when you look at the original colorways. And the OG reds are the most visible and prominent ones that people saw back in the day. And then for me personally, I do favor the blues just because they weren't seen and as visible back in the day through their advertising. It's not something that we saw from back in the day. And
that's what kind of got me.
Yeah.
After you said that, after you explained.
It's the sleeper pair, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
It's
you're telling me
sleeper pair.
the sport blue that's coming out today, that came out the same time with the
Yeah.
OG reds?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that. I thought the sport blue was just
There's
an afterthought.
actually a third colorway.
Which
that-
is?
It's an obsidian colorway.
So dark blue?
Yeah, the mudguard that is red on the reds and
Right.
blue on the blues is a dark navy obsidian, and it actually had hits of red. I believe the Nike Air tag on the heel was red, and some of the rubber outsole was actually red too. And that one is basically the unicorn of the three. Not as popular, but you just don't see it.
Right. So you're saying that when the OG ones came out a bunch of years ago, like 30 years ago,
Yeah.
there were 3 original colorways.
Correct.
And this year we're going to get retros of 2 of these.
The most popular ones, yeah.
Okay. And you want to talk about last weekend, whether or not we were able to cop the reds?
Yeah, luckily we were.
Yeah, so...
At the same location.
Yeah, we were at this location last week, and we noticed that...
Thanks to your mention to pop over.
Yes.
Because I tried at another spot.
And the
it
other
wasn't-
spot was
not friendly.
a lot
Lined
more
up.
bumping.
Oh yeah, a lot
And-
more people in line and less pairs apparently.
So it seemed like this was kind of a sleeper location for last week's OG Red releases. And I've been hyping this shoe up for a little while now because, like I said, over and over, very important shoe to me to have in my collection again. And I was able to get my size. I was like second or third in line, so I was very happy about that.
Nice.
And how about you, Pierre? How did you feel about not being able to come out for that one?
I missed out on that one. Again, I didn't know the history behind all of this. The hype really started it for me, and then with you guys just guiding me and letting me know, okay, this is an Air Max. This is the first air bubble that was put on a shoe, and I was like, you know what? Let me get onto this, And it's honestly, to me, this shoe is gonna be kind of a rite of passage as a sneakerhead.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
Right?
Good. Well put.
Yeah, I'm now part of a boys club that is pretty elite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Knowing that you are one of a collector that has an Air Max.
Yeah.
And it's a different group of people.
Let's just
I mean,
say...
you guys have friends that
Yeah.
were in line last week, and we know people that are here today.
Yeah.
But last week, as
Yeah.
I popped over to the other location, it was a different spectrum of people in that line.
Let's just say
you
the
could-
people that actually copped the pair, we haven't seen a lot for resale on the market. The only thing we see is like size swaps, or if they
Yeah.
want a new size, right? So it seems like almost 100% of people buying these had the full intentions of keeping them. And
Which
not
is
full-
cool.
Yeah, and that's the different kind of collectors that's going for these shoes that's coming out this month, right? It's gone to a point where, like, if you haven't noticed, in March, Adidas isn't even making too many announcements or
Not even trying.
exactly,
They're
and
just
they
rolling.
they
Same
just
silhouettes.
they just understand that this month belongs to Nike more or less, and that they've captured a majority. Well, they always capture majority of the market, but it seems like they've understood that March is very important to Nike, and you can't pry that away from them. You know what I mean?
We'll see what happens after March, because the Adidas as a company released their earnings recently, and their year-over-year sales were up 18%.
That's huge, man.
Record-breaking sales for Adidas last year.
And why do you think that is?
And they did amazing. I mean, you got the fanboys saying it's all K West, but
He sells thousands of shoes. per
oh yeah,
release.
I mean, we've seen them in how many NMDs? Like NMDs, Ultra Boost has been destroying Nike.
And it seems
Sorry.
All good.
it's okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Just some passersby.
So, like I said, we're in
She was
downtown.
friendly.
Yeah, I know. Should be less friendly when she wakes up. Like I said before, we're in downtown Vancouver, so there's a lot of...
walk of shame.
No, she's pretty proud.
I'm kidding.
Getting that money, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't know. We're just...
Allegedly.
Gotten into trouble before.
Sneakerphiles does not condone, support, or not support.
The walk of shame.
Support. Yeah.
So, what were we talking about? Adidas. And how...
Record year.
Yeah, record year.
18%.
Good for them. And it seems like their lifestyle line has been steadily been dominating over Nike's lifestyle line.
Yeah, and dominating, unfortunately, due to the false facts. Sorry, alternative facts from Kanye West that everybody's going to get a pair. The top like 4 silhouettes in no particular order are your Superstar, Stan. I believe NMD got into that, but it's all the originals and their classics.
And actually, those Inikis came out really strong too for
Yeah.
a brand new silhouette. Sold out pretty much
my
everywhere.
I think Kurt's got a pair.
He did?
Yeah, I think so.
Everything though.
Well done.
Because he's rolling. He's baller.
Hi, Jay.
Hey Jay, we miss you, man. Oh, by the way, Jay's not here. He has real life responsibilities to take care of.
Adult thing.
Not like us yahoos over here. Anyways, we miss you, Jay. So what do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about what we've copped the last week?
Well, I mean, we're camping out.
This is exciting to me.
First
This is
camp
awesome.
out in, man, probably
There's
2
like
years.
Was it 2 people that were lining up before us?
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, they're being very generous and letting us have this comfy
Take some
spot.
space.
And how many people after us now?
There's about 4 or 5 now.
4 or 5 people after
Yeah.
us. And it's super awkward doing this, but you know, we'll get over it.
You make it awkward, Eugene.
Just wait until the casting couch for my spot comes out.
There's a couch in my
Who
car.
wants to move up the line?
We brought a minivan. We're gonna rip out the back seat and pull up the seat here. But yeah, I thought this
This
was
is a different type of genre, but sure.
Which you're familiar with, Mr. AVN.
You know, we've been not joking about it. We've been tempted to do one of these on location recordings before, right?
Yeah.
I think it started with like the Bread 1 re-release
Yeah.
of last year
Team Caught.
when we were all
Wanted to go guerrilla style and shoot hot mayhem.
You guys ended up going to Richmond Center, though, right?
We went there just to, like, me and Joe were
Film the
95% sure what was going to happen, and it's exactly what had happened.
Yeah.
That there were more people ready to line up than they had spots
and
for.
Distinct lack of organizational
Yeah.
skills between security or communication between security and the store. So you knew that it was just either going to turn into mayhem
Yeah.
or it was just going to be severed.
Well, that's
But
the
you
thing.
can't really have that with this type of situation because we're in an open street, right? And there's not a lot of that risk happening in this situation, correct?
Well, you got to remember, like, one of those hype Jordan releases, a hype Adidas consortium release, that crowd and those, I'm not even going to say collectors, those buyers. I wasn't going to use that word either, Joe. It's just you. That crowd is very different from this awesome, mature crowd we're dealing with today.
This
In
is
fact,
like the slow jam Sundays instead of the
man.
EDM night, right?
Exactly.
I just popped Molly. I don't know about you guys.
It doesn't matter what night for Joe. But, you know,
Because
like,
the belt's gonna come off soon.
Shirtless.
let's just say the atmosphere between this release and the Paper MD release, the atmosphere is very, very different. It's one of those things where I knew if I were to hear it at a reasonable time, I would get my size, because I'm almost certain nobody here is going to be reselling a pair of these, right?
Well, I just looked at the resale value on StockX when we first sat down, and those OG Reds have actually gone way up in price.
Good. Good for me. And Joe, not so much for Pete.
That's okay, don't worry. If it comes to it, I'll pay resale.
What about those, what do you call those? The Ultras, the 326s that are very close to the OG Reds. How do you feel about those, Pete?
You know, if as much as I didn't get the OGs, I could wear that as a beater pair if I do get it. And they're cool. I can get one for the base size, and it will be like, you know, his or her kind of shoes. I like them. It's not the same kind of material as the ones that we released 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But it's still to me it's still awesome because it's a celebration of Air Max Day.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
anything Air Max is huge for me.
Yeah, and I missed last year's Air Max celebration.
What was Outlaster? Oh,
Safaris.
the Safari.
Yeah, but they weren't really true to OG though, is what I heard, right?
They're a little bit different. I've never seen an OG one in person, but like looking at pictures and whatnot and videos, the material, the makeup is a lot different than the retros. It's kind of like it's almost like a tribute to the original, like arts and crafting.
I've seen people actually cut the fray or like the fuzz,
shave it.
Yeah, and it looked good, but. You know what, but with everything, with all of this, I kind of like the Safari, and I've been doing a lot of research on it, even in like the best colorways for the Air Maxes.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of stuff, guys.
That's
really.
cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Like, it's awesome for new, like, you're not a new sneaker collector, but you are new, fairly new to the Air Max scene, right? And for a lot of people, like, Air Max Day for a lot of us every year, there's always a new collector every year. And they'll hit their first Air Max Day where they'll start paying attention, right?
Yeah.
And people like Pierre here, he's not the only one, I'm guessing, that will go back and learn the history of Air Maxes and why this shoe is important and whatnot, right? And I think that's why they do hype up this month so much from like Nike. And it's important for a lot of people to understand the impact that this particular model has in the entire sneaker world, right?
And I think that for reference there, that fits me as well, because we've had a lot of variations of the OG shoe over the years, like a dozen or 15. Someone out there put a collage together of all of the variations that have come out since the last OG build of the Air Max One. And for me personally, it was never, each variation didn't have enough to get me to buy it. So now that it's back in original form, like, I'd never claimed to be one of the OG Air Max days. It doesn't have the same pull for me like it does for Eugene until it hits an OG build of the first.
Anyway, sorry, we had to reset the memory card, so Joe was saying.
Oh, yeah, so whereas Pierre's getting in from the ground floor, I believe we did an episode of what we'd be telling new collectors to get in, and I think it was referencing Jordans, where it was the year, it might have been, the Bred Ones that had just come out last year, that if you're going to get into it, start from the beginning, and now this is the beginning for Air Max, and
it's a good year to be a
good year.
sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Honestly.
How do you feel if next year they started hyping up and featuring the Air Max 90s? Would you guys be happy with the 90s?
The 90s are cool.
They'll grow on you, man. I was like you for a while.
Yeah.
Like Jordan 1s, man. I was never a big fan of Jordan 1s until they started doing it properly. Now I'm a huge fan of Jordan 1s, especially in game worn colorways, right? And these 90s wasn't huge on my list for a while, just because they look a little bit off to me. But the more the OG colorways came out, the better they started looking to me.
Yeah.
And I ended up being a huge fan of the 90s.
And it was it 2 years ago they released it in OG form?
A year or two ago, yeah, that's true.
So the infrared's the staple colorway in that silhouette, and the same reason why I hadn't jumped on anything with the Air Max 90 line was because they'd either done Flyknit upper, Hyperfuse, the patches, which ended up being a collector's item.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that the Lunar is a comfortable shoe and great.
That's not,
but
no
it's
one
not
asked
the
for it.
same. That's right.
Yeah.
See, Joe, you know how you said that you don't really, get on board with the new materials on an AM90, right? For me, I'm actually kind of to me that's kind of cool, because it's new technology and everything. So I guess it's just a different perspective.
Yeah, and it's not like that across the board, because I really appreciate the Flyknit upper on the Air Force One, and the fact that it's an ultra, it's reduced weight. So sometimes that don't make any damn sense when it comes to my collecting habits, because that Flyknit upper and the lighter sole on that Air Force One is a godsend for people who want to wear that for a long time.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also one of those shoes that I don't think too many people were asking for like a high-tech reissue of a classic shoe. I don't know, man. Like, I never really fucked with those. I had a pair of premium tapes, because that was the closest I can get to the infrared 90s at the time.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as those OG retros reissued, like, I had to go and get them right away.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, like, Air Max Day is not always, but like usually on a weekday, and I used to work fairly close to another store that carried a lot of releases, so it was easy for me to cop them.
Store, corner.
But whatever the case, I never pass up on a chance to get a pair of OG Air Maxes, and to me, this shoe is just super important to a fact that this colorway I'm not really historically a big fan of, but I just had to get it because this guy told me.
Well, you got to fill your pack.
Exactly. I can't just.
You're 2 for 2.
Oh, jeez. Did you guys even try for the Masters last night? The Masters released on Nike.ca midnight our time, 3 Eastern, Friday night, Saturday morning, and that was just a few hours ago, really. Did you guys try to get that?
I ended up trying. I ended up carding, but I decided not to go though.
Were you saving budget for today?
Yeah, and you know what? It was. I wanted to get what I like, and it wasn't. It's a good.
It was more impulsive for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you didn't hear that with the bus, Pierre carded and then backed out.
Yeah, I
That
did.
happens.
It was for me. It was enough to know all the sneakers that was part of that. And don't ask me because I don't know. I've
Name
the
all
18
8 colorways.
colors.
Yeah,
Is it?
exactly.
No, I think there's like 10.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
And I can name maybe none of them.
I saw that tweet. There was a guy that tweeted both Kick Steals and Sneakerphiles
Yeah.
about how Kick Steals was saying, like, shout out by the way, that it's a really nice shoe, underrated. But then there was a guy making fun of the fuzzy Nike. You know what? Everyone's gonna have their own likes and dislikes about the
Look,
shoe.
dude, if you put like 10 pairs of shoes into one silhouette, you're gonna find at least 1 or 2 of that not everyone's a big fan of. They're like swinging for the fences with the Master, right? And they're not gonna bat 100. Right?
It's you know what? My take on it is that it's. I mean, everything now that's got a collage or a mix of a bunch of colorways is either going to be branded a what the.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what people
Or
thought
now
that,
a
that was going to
Master.
be Masters, yeah, or
Top 10 Air Max one.
exactly. So it's like the Ronnie Feig Gel Light 3. That's the homage shoe. It's a presentation piece. I could
Yes.
never wear it personally.
True.
In
That
my
is true.
opinion.
Like to be honest, if I missed out on that cop, by the way. I was trying but not trying. I was working while that thing came out, so I wasn't really concentrating. So I did try and card. That was like, I don't know, minutes and minutes after it was released. So my chances were like not good. But at the same time, I was like, maybe if I get them, I'll be happy to have them. But there's no situation where I can think of where I would actually wear them out. You know what I mean? It'd be a good conversation piece.
Yeah.
So that was it. But what is it, next week?
Oh,
Next week's the big
awesome.
one, right?
Yeah.
So what's coming out next week, Jim?
Air Max 1 by Atmos.
So that was
Elephant.
So
Pierre.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
So
Right?
Yeah.
there you
Okay,
go.
good, yeah.
So
I got scared there. You guys, I gotta pass you. It's hard. You guys are hard to please.
That's why we
why.
let you go first. To see if you're gonna
answer first.
cut your own throat.
I actually did some research on this one, and so Atmos.
What did you learn about this Atmos re-release that's coming out?
Well, first of all, I think Atmos is a store from Japan,
yes.
correct? And they did a collab back in, I don't know when, but it was one of those collabs. I just love the colorway. I love the elephant print on it, and
It's like Tiffany-esque.
yeah.
Pre-Tiffany.
Did you guys see the pack that they're gonna go with the Jordan 3s?
Yeah, I know very little about the pack except for the
too.
2 shoes coming out, and how they're gonna release it, when they're gonna release it, how exclusive it is, or how we can get them. I know nothing about it.
It's going to be ultra limited.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Those Jordan 3s aren't really hitting it for me.
Yeah, Safari print on a 3, even with Nike Air heel tag.
Yeah.
That's a tough sell for an original OG-minded collector.
It's got my attention.
I like
boys,
that.
so-
I like the Air Maxes.
It has.
And they are doing a solo release for the Atmos Air Maxes, right?
I believe so,
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
So how do you feel about? Is there anything else about the Atmos that you want to tell the listeners?
No, that's it. That's about it.
How do you feel about that shoe? Like,
Love it.
have you seen it before, right?
No, not
Okay.
in person, but I've seen it on pictures and stuff. So.
Okay, so you are somewhat familiar with this shoe.
Yeah.
You know of its existence.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this Atmos Air Max, do you like it?
Love it.
Okay.
I plan to be here next week again
Okay.
with you guys, hopefully.
And we've like grilled certain certain shoes with like an all-over print before, right? And this
Yeah.
is like straddling the line of an all-over print. How do you feel about it, Joe?
I like it.
Okay. So what's different about this than like say like the Flip 3s or something? It's more subtle, I guess.
It is very subtle. Plus, the colorway is appropriate. It's not too far-fetched.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't know, it's pleasing to the eye.
Okay.
Even if it's out there, it's a subtle out there, in my opinion.
But it seems like
It's clean.
Yeah. On my belt.
Bing, bing, bing.
And it seems like online it's going to be fairly plentiful.
Ooh, fingers crossed.
At the
hope
same
so.
time, it won't be easy to cop. But I don't know, man. I'm feeling this year's Air Max month.
Good month.
It's been a huge month for me, and I've been like so broke trying to keep up with all these releases.
I know.
I've had to neglect a lot of other releases actually.
Family.
At first, I was like worrying about Jordan releases, and now I gotta worry about Air Max now too.
And like right after March, it's gonna be this fucking Jordan 1 Royals coming out,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited about that one. You still have your 2012s,
13.
2013s,
Yeah.
and you're still gonna try for these 2017s.
Oh yeah. And the rumor mill is that these are going to be holiday Jordan 11 quantities. So keep fingers crossed for that too.
Yeah.
'Cause that's epic.
Did both of you guys get Jordan 11s last year?
I did.
The Space Jams? Did you get?
I did not.
Did you try?
I did.
Did you cart and then back out?
No, I ran out of money.
Oh,
I ran
that
out of money.
happens.
I have an
Christmas,
8.5.
man.
Someone's storing an 8.5 for me.
And I don't mean to generalize,
I
but
know.
your culture seems to do Christmas. I've got some flip friends that their Christmas is just everybody that has the same last name gets a gift.
It's okay because my
Which
sister
is
and my
cool.
brother got
But
one.
like, no surprise
Yeah.
when your 5th pair of shoes in December is not a priority. You've got
I know.
a big family to take care of.
So fair enough. Budgetary wise, a lot of these decisions had to be weighed out. But these Royal ones, I think I will try much harder to budget for these ones.
Would you take your shirt off and swing a belt for them?
Oh,
I would.
I don't know if I would swing a belt, but I will.
Will you West Side Homie a guy?
See, that's just. I'll do everything that's. I don't know.
Appropriate in the community, basically, right?
I'll do this. I'll sign up for every raffle if there are raffles. I will plan for a lineup if there are lineups.
What if there's a ghost pair that was handed to you?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
What if someone right now walked out front, no box, a pair of Royal ones?
Legit though, he claims it's legit.
Oh fuck! Whoever claims that knowledge. If I know,
You put an infrared on it and you see the white stripes.
the UV light.
UV
We
light.
should UV light. Can you
You got
imagine
black light and there's just white spatter all
What
over
I
it.
wanna-
You still buying that?
what I want to see sometimes? Sorry, there's a lot of commotion going.
Thought we had Shirtless Belt Man Part 2, 2.0 here, and it just turned out it was Jay.
What do you think would happen if, like, I want to see some guy doing a UV light check on their shoes while they're filming it, but they do it on their bed?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it's just CSI.
There's stuff on the side, on the top.
Okay, so we talked about the Air Maxes quite a bit, and we're fairly pumped out about all this month and all the crazy releases that's coming out for Air Max day, month, week, whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
we got the cleaning crew. Might we need to wrap up? Take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break and let's come back and we'll discuss other things.
Camp out.
All right, so we're back. It's been a couple hours since we stopped recording, and now we're back just to finish it off. If you look in the back, there's going to be a lineup of like 20 people now, and the line is getting longer. We're approaching launch. It's maybe less than half an hour before the store
Excited.
opens. So, how do you guys feel about the lineup situation? I haven't lined up for a sneaker for a long, long time.
Good
Few years.
people.
Yeah.
Good people.
So far, it's been okay people in the front. In the back, I haven't really talked to them because I'm not that far back. But they've been silent.
Yeah.
They've been silent. But I
Apparently
don't know.
those are the
You-
resellers.
You guys getting more excited about the sneaker, or you just want to go home now?
I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
raining, and we're still here, smiling.
Yes, and we've been very patient, and we're not the people that hide in the car as soon as it gets a little rough. We've been in the physical lineup the entire time. I don't know, man. Like, anything you want to say before we sign off on this podcast?
Keep this up. If you ever have a chance to go and line up and meet some people and grab a pair of shoes, keep it up because I think this is tradition. This is what being a sneakerhead is all about.
So, like, do you have any tips for people that want to line up for sneakers in the future now that these are getting less and less frequent? So, you know, the excuse to all the traffic is getting busier now. But for future releases that are going to be lineups, how do you think people should deal with them?
Chair.
Weather.
Yeah, dress for the weather. Bring a chair. Talk to the people directly in front and behind you. Kind of work out a system, right?
Introduce yourself, god damn it.
Yeah. We were able to go to Timmy's, grab some coffee for the people, and they held our spot.
So that's not bad. I've been fairly stress-free with this launch. Last week as well. It's just cool people hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like I wasn't able to get these online a couple of nights ago, but I knew that this was an option for me to come back, right? So I was fairly happy that I didn't have to line up too long. Like we came earlier than we needed to, just because we wanted to record, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining. Like it was super nice earlier. It's just starting to raining now, and
It's Vancouver.
yeah, it's Vancouver. It's gonna rain every day. It just depends on what time of day.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky that it only started raining like half an hour ago, so we've been fairly dry. We stayed fairly dry.
I guess another thing that you can think about too is like I was thinking this. I don't know if you guys do, but if I'm gonna put 4 hours in a lineup, and what is the value of that shoe to me, right? If I put anything more than 4 hours, that's like doing like 8-hour shift out
It
work.
really depends how you want to see it. The
Right.
main reason why I line up for sneakers nowadays is not because it's going to be worth a certain amount per hour I put into it. It's because I can't afford it and don't want to pay resale.
True.
Yeah.
And don't want
That
me to
is
beat
true.
them, even at the expense of my hourly wage, quote unquote,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
how much I'm putting into these shoes. It's still worth it to me that I get them for retail, just so that someone else doesn't make the money off of me.
Ooh, spiteful. I like it.
It's not about spite. It's about
Well, you
like,
do have to beat the resellers.
Yes, and like we had a conversation earlier about why we're here, and someone suggested it's because of resellers. And my argument is like, yes,
Interesting.
not for the reason you're saying. We're here because resellers would beat us to get these shoes if it wasn't for them. So I guess in a way, yeah, it's because of resellers why we're here so early and lining up for a fucking Air Max that has never been lined up forever.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like a regular OG colorway,
Yep.
not like some crazy hyped up collab or anything, right? So yeah, man. So I've been really happy that we got a chance to fucking hang out.
Oh, this is awesome.
and
Yeah.
we've
Won't be
been
the last time.
we've been
Won't be the
talking
last
about
time.
like lining up and doing an on location podcast for like 6 months now, since like the Bread One release. We were joking about it, and like
Yeah.
finally it happened. Too bad, like Jason, we miss you. Like
Yeah.
Miss you, buddy.
so it's too bad you're not here. Like I know there's a lot of shit going on right now that needs your attention in real life. And end of the day,
He'll be back.
yeah, he'll be back. So I'm sorry that this podcast is not as long as the regular one. And maybe some of you people actually enjoy that. But
If you've been around Eugene,
someone's playing golf with his cane on the sidewalk.
The beauty of being in downtown Vancouver,
Exactly.
right?
So for all your audio listeners that are listening right now, if you want to actually see what happened here in downtown Vancouver, just go to our YouTube channel, Sneakerphiles Podcast, and you will be able to see the audio that is taking place right now.
nice.
So anything you guys want to finish off with?
No, that's it, guys. That's it for me.
So,
I'm excited.
Camp out safe.
yes, go out there and camp out for shoes. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and it's the shoe you really want. I'm excited for next week for the Atmos.
Yes.
And and if there's an in-store release for the Masters, I'll probably look into that as well. So maybe another vlog or another video about the lineup. But either way, yeah, man, thank you all for watching or listening. And for the Sneakerphiles podcast, this is Eugene.
I'm Pierre.
And Joe.
Happy hunting, guys.